Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of Generally Irritable. I'm just getting an error warning from Rumble. I'm going to see if Lord Redic can fix it while we're getting started. Texting the husband. So, you guys, this is, what do you guys think about the countdown timer? What do you guys think about the countdown timer? Does that drive you crazy? Would you rather me just talk to you for 5 minutes about nothing to get the show started? Or would you rather watch a countdown timer? And then you know when it's up and coming. All right, Rumble. Can you update the stream key? All right, you guys. So this week's edition, I'm really excited about. Because we that are involved in politics have a tendency to complain a lot about the way that things are. And we don't always do a good job about talking about the solutions. So we talk about being, often we're always talking about the part of the problem instead of part of the solution. And so one of the things that we really have strived to do with Generally Irritable is to bring you organizations that are part of the solution. These are the folks who put their money and their time where their mouth is. If they say that they want to see families restored, if they say they want to see children have a safe home, if we say that we want to bring mothers back into the home for homeschooling and raising their kids, are we providing jobs for those people? Like, what are we doing to make it so that we have a society that looks the way that we have said we believe is better for maximum human flourishing, right? Those of you who watch my channel regularly know that I am a Christian, that I am a follower of Jesus, that I do my best to actually, do what it says in the Bible and be a light on the hill. And so if we say that, if we say we're those people, if we say that these are the things that matter and will make a difference, what are we doing to actually demonstrate that out in the world? And so my guest today, her name is Deanna Pratt, and she is the Associate Director of Development for Texas Baptist Children's Home here in Round Rock, Texas. I love this organization, you guys. Benjamin and I have known about them for years, actually. I think maybe a decade ago. No, it couldn't have been that long because we've only been married for 9 years. So several years ago, we actually looked into being house parents at this organization. So as the name implies, they're working with kids who are foster kids, orphans, but also families. So maybe a single mom who's dealing with homelessness or recovering from addiction or domestic violence. They're in the cottages, they're staying there, they're getting help. Benjamin and I actually looked into being house parents at one point. It's not a thing anymore, but this organization is really doing the work. They are really, and they've been around forever. If you've never heard of them, you guys are going to be so excited when you learn more. Deanna is going to do a way better job of explaining all of the history and all of the programs and all of that stuff. But before we get started, if you like this channel, if you come back, if you've watched us before, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and hit the like button on the video or the Rumble button, wherever you're watching, because by the end, you're going to have forgotten and you're going to love me and you're going to love Deanna and you're going to love this organization. And then you're going to have totally forgotten to tell the algorithm how much you loved us. So do it now before you forget. And don't forget, this is a live stream, y'all. We are live. We're taking your questions. So if you've got a question for Deanna, if you've got a question for me, go ahead and put it in the chat. Whatever platform you're watching, Facebook, Twitter, Rumble, YouTube, wherever you are, you can put a comment in the chat and we'll see it. So let us know what your questions are. And without further ado, let me introduce you to Miss Deanna Pratt. Hello, Deanna.
Hello, Ericka. How are you?
Oh, I am so excited to have you today. I really love Texas Baptist Children's Home, and ladies and gentlemen, you guys know I have an accounting business. Deanna and I actually met at a networking event where I was doing something for I Love Your Money, my bookkeeping practice. But you are just so awesome, and I love what you do. I wanted to bring you on and highlight you, your organization, and all the good work that you're doing in Central Texas.
Thank you so much. Well, I think the same thing about you. I think you're awesome. I love seeing you every Wednesday, and you just bring so much joy to my life. And it's just amazing to have people like you and your husband who are such supporters and advocates for TBCH and what we do.
You are. Thank you for that.
Of course, thank you.
I love it. We have one comment so far. It's funny. Josh Howard is a GI. That's what we're calling people who watch generally irritable GIs.
I love it.
We just came up with that. Josh, what do you think? Do you like being called a GI? And he said he's happy that he went online and magically we're on. He wish it happened more often. Perhaps 6 shows a day. Come on, man.
Hey,
I got a job.
You can do it.
Now, if I had access to guests like you 6 times a day, Deanna, that would be freaking awesome.
Oh.
Okay, you guys. So let me see. So Deanna, you said let's start with a little bit of history on TBCH. So we've got you guys. We're interactive today. I've got tons of pictures and the website. So which picture should I bring up first?
You can bring up the one of the Henna family.
I love it. Okay, so let's see. Present, share screen. So these were the folks who founded TBCH.
Yeah, so we were founded in 1950. So a lot of people don't realize that we've been around for almost 75 years.
Wow.
And so Lewis and Billy Sue, who are pictured right here in the picture, they lived right across the street. So we're here located in Round Rock off of 79 and Mays, and we're pretty central to the city of Round Rock. We're on 112 acres, which is pretty crazy. And so Lewis and Billy Sue, they lived across 79 back in 1950, and their home backed up to the Lutherans Children's Home at the time. And their kids would play with the kids from the Lutherans Children's Home. And one day they found out that the children's home was going to be closing its doors to children and reopening as an elderly care facility. So Lewis and Billy Sue knew that somebody needed to do something. And it wasn't long before God said, "You're the ones that need to do something." So, that's how it goes, right?
Yep.
And so they ended up purchasing the 112 acre lot right across the street. And they wanted to open a children's home, but they never wanted it to feel like a hospital or an institution. So they went all over the country trying to find a model of a children's home that really felt like home, where these kids could come and really just feel safe and loved and like they were home. And so this picture actually was taken at the ribbon cutting ceremony. I think it was in September of 1950. The whole town of Round Rock shut down for our ribbon cutting ceremony, which is crazy because I can't imagine Round Rock shutting down for anything these days. And if you want to put up, Eric, I sent you a picture of, it's like the TBCH land. Do you have that?
Let me, yep. Hold on.
Okay. So this is a really fun picture when she gets it up. And then I'll talk a little bit more about it, but it's going to show you all of the acreage that we have. And something that I love about this picture, is, so basically this road on the, I don't know, I guess where you're watching, the road to the right-hand side, I guess.
This one?
Yes, that is 79, and it's a dirt road. Which Highway 79 here in Round Rock, that's crazy. So that's Highway 79 as a dirt road.
Oh my God.
Which side road is
for those of you who are not from Central Texas, 79 is what, like a 6-lane road now?
I think it's think it's like 4. I don't know.
Is it
It's a
like
big one.
two? It's at least two
It
on
goes
either
all the
side,
way. It
plus the
spans.
turning lane,
It
and
takes you
then
from
yeah,
Round Rock all the way out to
yeah.
Hutto and Taylor and so on. So they purchased this 112-acre lot. Our lot spans all the way back to that back road, basically in the upper left-hand corner. That's
Oh,
Bowman
like
Road
over
now.
here?
I don't know where your mouse is. I can't see
Oh,
it.
I'm
But
sorry, I'm on the wrong
all
over
the way,
here.
yes, that back road right back there. So
Okay.
that's Bowman Road. And so that is completely our lot. So we still sit on that lot today. Again, like I said, 112 acres.
Yep.
And so when we were founded, like I said, we were a children's home. The kids would come. They would live in cottages with house parents. As Ericka mentioned earlier, we used to have house parents, which was typically like a husband and a wife that would just come and devote their lives to raising the children of the children's home. Sometimes they could have up to 15 to 20 kids in their cottage at any given time, which is crazy. And so the house would kind of function like a normal household. The parents would get the kids up and ready for school. They would eat meals together. They would help them with their homework. They would put them down. It really was, the kids had that routine. They had that stability. They had the safety. And so then in the 70s, there was a girl who was actually raised at TBCH that had gone off, and she had had some kids and ended up in a bad situation. And so what do you do when you're in trouble? You go home. So she came home to TBCH in the 70s, and she spoke to our executive director at the time, whose name was Charles Wright. And she said, I'm in a really bad situation. I didn't realize that life could get here, but it did. And I unfortunately have to place my kids today because I can't give them the future that they deserve. But I know, because y'all gave me this future, y'all gave me that chance. I want the same thing for my kids. And unfortunately, I'm not in a place where I can give that to them. And our executive director had enough wisdom and forethought at the time, and he told her no. And she said, what do you mean no? You have no idea how hard it is for me to come and offer, give my children over. Like, I'm a mother, I love my children. And he said, no,
Yeah.
we're not going to continue to encourage this cycle of tearing families apart. Because he saw that at the time we were treating the symptom of the problem and we weren't getting to the root of the problem. These mothers were caught in this cycle, whether it was a generational cycle of poverty, abuse, you name it, whatever they were caught in. A lot of times it was this cycle of trauma, and it was not an easy black and white answer to just get out of. And a lot of times it wasn't their first decision to want to place their kids, but out of a desperation.
I mean, if it's they go hungry and starve, if they stay with me, or I bring them here where
Right.
they will have shelter. I mean, if you're a parent, you
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It's
that's
the ultimate
golly.
act of selflessness, to trust a home with your children, when it might not be it just might not be the reality that you're able to raise your children in that way, that you want to, that you desire to, because of X, Y, and Z. So she became our first family care mom back in the 70s. And for
Wow.
years, we did both. We had children living on campus with house parents, and we had our family care program. So now today, that brings us to present day. Family care is now the biggest program we have on our campus. We can house up to 45 moms at any given time, and close to 100 children can accompany them. We have 17 cottages spread out on our campus where they live. And it is, they are living together. Some of our cottages can house up to 4 families. In later stages in our program, they can have 2. And then we even have apartments on our campus that, if they get to a level of independent living, that they can live there. So when a mom comes into our program,
and especially, I'm sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
especially here in Central Texas, where the cost of living is so outrageous.
Yes. Yep.
They have projected that Austin will overtake San Francisco as the most expensive metropolitan area by the end of the decade.
I'm not surprised.
And so that's when you have people, if they're experiencing homelessness, if they're experiencing abuse or something, where do you go when minimum rent is $2,200 a month? You know, that's, and then who do you trust? Because, okay, maybe I can go get a roommate situation somewhere, but how do I know if I can trust these people with my children? Is this actually going to be safe? And so just being able to create those bridges is even more of a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we in 2020 we actually did away with our around 2020 we did away with our campus life program, which was the kids here under 18. It basically got to a point where, because of the rise of mental health and just a lot of different things, we were being told that we had to have kind of 24-hour supervision.
Wow.
And that was going to kind of go in the direction of almost kind of like a institution, hospital.
I
And
was
if we
gonna
go back
say,
to
that doesn't sound like, is that, what is that 24-hour, like a hospital? Like,
Exactly. And so that kind of went back to like our founders in the very beginning of this podcast when I was saying that they didn't want it to feel like an institution or a hospital. It was one of those questions where it brought leadership to the table to kind of have a conversation. And the question really came down to, what is the thing that TBCH, between campus life and family care, single moms or kids under 18, what is the thing that we feel like we do the best? That we just feel like we could take it and just run with it and really impact lives. And the answer was family care. And, you know, when we made the switch, the question came up of, well, you really can't call yourself a children's home anymore because you don't have, you know, and to me, I'm like, well, then,
there's
but
still
what's,
kids there.
I'm like, but what's the true meaning of a children's home though? Is that where kids can be kids? Because that is happening here more so today than it ever has before. Kids are still 100,000% at the heart of everything that we do. The kids think they're at summer camp because they're not having to come and do the work. The mom is coming and doing the work. She is coming and getting empowered and given the skills and the confidence that she needs to be the mother that she's called to be the manager or the whatever she wants to do.
Provider.
Yes.
Yep.
And so when a mom comes into our program, she basically sits down with our FLCs, which are similar to case managers, family life coordinators, and the directors of the program. And she comes up with a plan of service. And this is going to act basically as her blueprint to guide her through the program. We have scholarships to make it possible for our moms to go to college. So we have a lot of our moms that are getting their associates, their bachelors. Sometimes the traditional classroom route is not for them. So they want to go to a trade school. And, you know, we have a lot that want to be hairstylists and cosmetologists and estheticians. And, you know, that just, like, the world is their oyster, you know, and this is sometimes the very first time that they've ever had that seat at the table to say, this is what I want with my future. And to have people tell her, your past does not define you. Your past does not define your future. The cycle that you and maybe your family and your grandparents and your grandparents, you know, that they've been stuck in this whole time, that does not define you. That does not define your future. That does not define your kids' future. So this is generational impact. So hopefully, you know, she's here, she's learning skills. We have parenting classes that they can go through, life skills that that our FLCs and our counselors take them through. We have an incredible counseling program called Hope Program Counseling. And not only is it on this campus in Round Rock, we also have a campus in Georgetown, but it offers all of our moms and young adults, which I'll talk about in a minute, and our kids, no cost, trauma-informed counseling. Which I don't know if any of you have ever gotten counseling. It's not cheap.
It is not cheap.
And so they're trauma-informed Christian counselors that come alongside our moms, our young adults, our children. They meet them where they're at, regardless of trauma or religion or anything. They meet them right where they're at. They help them because it's a mindset shift, right? You do deserve this future. You do deserve this chance.
Well, and that's what so much of the, you know, golly, Deanna, I feel like when I look out at the world right now and I see all of the problems that we're facing, you know, politically, socially, whatever it is, it's like I feel like we just have generations of traumatized people. You think about the number of broken homes, right? What is it, like 50% of divorces end up in, or marriages end up in divorce, you know, regardless of your your social status or your religion or whatever, right? So you have all these broken homes. You have tons of kids growing up without their fathers, which we know if you grow up without a dad, statistically, you're more likely to end up in prison and or a drug addict. All these terrible things. So if we have all these broken homes and we have all these traumatized people, and then we just expect everybody to pick themselves up by their bootstraps and figure it out without any support. And it's so this is the thing that, like, the government says that they want to help, like with social service programs, but they don't actually heal wounds that are often the cause of how people get to the point where they are homeless or in trouble. And so how do you guys keep, like, that it's like healing the whole person is so much a part. I feel like that's the center of what you're doing. Like, how do you guys figure out what programs to highlight or put money towards? Like, is it just from experience working with people? Like, how do you keep that so focused?
I mean, I think we've seen just how much of an impact that not only our family care program has, but also our home-based program. We don't want to be a Band-Aid. We want our families to come in, they come in broken. Yes. They come in wherever they're at. There's no cookie cutter approach. There's no black and white. They come in wherever they're at. They're served wherever they're at. They're loved on wherever they're at. That's the first thing. The first thing is that trust, right? We want you to be able to, sometimes when our moms come in or our young adults come in, it's like the first time that they've been able to, like, take a breath. And so it's like, hey, the work starts tomorrow, but today just take a nap. Go to the park with your kids. Go, whatever you want to do, just start taking care of yourself. Start that healing process. Because like you said, it's a mindset, right? And we can't just physically remove these families from hardship and expect for them to thrive without giving
suddenly
them the tools,
everything is fine.
Right. Like, without giving them the tools to really flourish. Mary Fisher, who's the director of our home-based program, which I will talk about shortly. I worked with her when I first came into TBCH. I was the home-based and aftercare associate for about a year, and she has so many different words of wisdom, and she's still a mentor in my life. But something that she says a lot, and that has just stuck with me, is that we get people who are surviving, which we want to take people from surviving to thriving. What that looks like is that when they're surviving, they're simply just existing. They experience a trauma, and their brain literally will stop developing when you experience a trauma. So we want to take them from this survival mindset and turn it into, like, you can thrive, because thriving means to flourish. And so Mary does such a beautiful job with our home base. Home base is our program for 18 to 24-year-olds who are aging out of foster care with nowhere to go or facing homelessness, which is another huge issue, not only in the city, state, it's worldwide. It's a huge issue. And it's something that we really are at the forefront of kind of this program of helping these young adults. Similarly to our mom's program, they have access to a college education. They can choose to go the trade route, because the traditional classroom is not for everyone. We can't be naive to that. And so we have a lot that want to do HVAC. They want to become welders. And I've been able to sit in the room before with these different young adults that are getting the chance to dream about their future, some of them for the very first time, of what do you want to do? Not what have you been told that you want to do, or what have you been told that your worth
can is, or able,
what do you, dream big, dream big. And we have seen just such flourishing with these young adults, and with these moms of, like you said, it's healing. And again, we don't want to be a Band-Aid. And when I say that, we want them to leave better than they came. We don't want them to basically just come in and, just get all this help and stay surface level and then leave and not, not have learned anything and not have. So in addition to college and counseling and life skills and all of those case management services, they also, our moms and our young adults, they're taught and they're met right where they're at when it comes to budgeting. What does it look like to have a good budget? What does it look like to have good credit? Why can bad credit really affect the rest of your life?
Deanna, oh my God. And this is one of the things that, like, again, a lot of these like well-meaning programs don't actually fix things. Do you know? I mean, good golly, Deanna, I have clients that make $200,000 a year who can't pay their bills on time. Okay, like this is not. This isn't even like a moral judgment on like poor people or anything. You know what I mean? Like that. People don't get taught how to reconcile their bank account or do any of that stuff. And if you're just like running around, like you said, surviving. Yeah. Well, what do you do when you start having money in your pocket?
Right. And like you said at the beginning, we live in one of arguably the most expensive cities in the United States. And so we want to prepare our families when they leave here that, this is the reality of our city. And, what does it look like to have a budget? And they do open a savings account here at TBCH that they don't touch until they leave. And what's beautiful about this is a lot of our moms and young adults, some of them are saving, thousands of dollars in their savings when they leave that they're getting. And when I worked with our aftercare program, that's the fourth stage of our program. So as scary as it is to come to TBCH, it's even scarier to leave. And so when they graduate from our program, when I was in aftercare, I would talk with a lot of them when they were leaving and do their exit interviews, things like that. And some of them would say, hey, I have a savings account that I've taken out at my bank because of the help that y'all have provided. And I want to save this savings account here at TBCH as my rainy day fund. I don't want to touch it until I have to touch it. And how empowering is that to be able to, we'd have a mom call and she'd say, hey, I have a flat tire and I had to get all 4 tires fixed. I need X amount of money. And I would be able to just go and take it out of her savings account. How empowering is that? Amazing. Like that is, what they're doing. They're saving this. They're really, they're honestly, our moms and our young adults, they're my heroes. Like I truly, I love it. They have to want it when they're here. They raise their hand to say, I need the help. I'm willing to put in the work. And,
otherwise it doesn't work.
Right. Well, and sometimes what I love about our program too, is that there are some times where, moms will be here. A lot of times people will ask, well, what's the, how long can they stay here? And really it kind of goes back to that plan of service. It depends on, let's say a mom's wanting to get her associate's degree. It's going to take her 2 years, let's say, 6 months on that. She could be here with us for 3.5 years. 4 years. Wow, we have moms getting their bachelor's. There's really as long as they're doing what they're needing to be doing and everything's working. And like I said, we have the independent living program where they can live in an apartment with their kids completely independent. They still have the support of one of our case managers, FLCs, but they're not living in that kind of communal living setting anymore. But it's also funny because our moms create community with each other in the cottages. And so then when they go live independently, they're like, wait, but like, I kind of liked living with like all the other moms. And like, it was like my friends. So there's another organization Benjamin and I work with a lot called Catalyst Collective.
And, the thing that we learned from them is that human beings really need 3 things to thrive: identity, belonging, and purpose. And so it's like you're helping them find their purpose, you're helping them find their identity, and they find belonging by being at TBCH, being a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So absolutely. It's like, again, addressing the whole person and not just putting a Band-Aid on it.
Yes.
I love that. Yes. So hold on. So before we go any further, speaking of budgeting, okay, we're talking about budgets. I'm going to bring everybody over to look at. You guys check out their website here for a second, and we'll get back to the programs and all the other stuff in just a second. But y'all, if you love what you're hearing as much as I love TBCH, go to their website, okay? Go check out ways to support. Obviously, financial support. Let's be real. Everybody needs a couple bucks these days. And now we'll talk a little bit later. You guys have a new building project that you're working on that some of these financial donations will go to. So you guys, very important to keep that in mind. You've got commissary donations, so you've got the boutique, the commissary. People can volunteer, they can donate. TBCH.org, Texas Baptist Children's Home, TBCH.org. Go check out ways to support, donate, volunteer, holler at me, holler at Deanna. Tell us what you want to do. Put a comment in the chat. We'll get you hooked up. What is the best way for folks to reach out if they want to support? Is it really just to click on one? Oh, yeah. Look at that. Contact, volunteer, you guys. What is it? What happens if I hit volunteer? Look at volunteer. Oh, Amazon wish. Oh, this is when like you guys needed pillows.
Yeah. So our volunteer
like
center, our volunteer center is amazing. They will update this page pretty frequently with volunteer opportunities, whether that's in-person opportunities. We also have things that we're needing. Every one of our moms gets a welcome basket when she comes into the program. We do birthday boxes. We have a need for meals for Monday night groups that our counselors lead and things like that. So all of those are on our volunteer opportunities page. The Amazon wish list is, yes, if we're ever needing things for the cottages, because when a mom comes in or when a home-based young adult comes in, they're met with fresh bedding. They're met with dishes and glassware and silverware and a fridge full of groceries bought that day and a pantry full of food. And so our Amazon wish list is really for those things that, hey, we really need some more pillows, or we really need some more bed, mattress protectors or comforters, because when our families come in, like I said, they're met with fresh bedding on their bed, dishware, all that. They take that with them through the program and they can take it when they leave. And so we don't keep any of that. So a lot of times, we'll post on that Amazon wish list in order to maybe get some things that we're needing. So, but that's pretty much frequently updated with from our volunteer center. And like you can see right there, Brenda, Libby, and Kelly are amazing. And if you ever had questions about volunteering, their numbers are right there for contact.
Oh, and girl, I don't have a fancy Bissell, but I probably have a couple of extra vacuums I could just bring you guys, just for the record.
Yeah, well, in our commissary, we take donations, clothing. We have a boutique that our moms can shop at, our young adults, our children, no cash register at the end. They can come and get outfits. And so we take all types of clothing. There it is. There's our pretty little boutique.
There's
and
the boutique.
We have a wonderful a staff over there at the commissary and the boutique, and they keep it very well stocked. That is our food pantry. So all of our residents, including our aftercare residents, so those are the moms who have graduated from the program, can go and access our the food at the food pantry, which oh my gosh, it helps so much. I go to the grocery store these days and I'm like, I didn't even come hungry and my bill is still crazy. Like,
dude,
it is insane.
Dude.
It's insane. My husband and I were grocery shopping the other day and I bought something that I wanted. He was like, did you know that was $8? And I'm like, but I wanted it.
Dude,
and it just something that shouldn't have been $8. Like it sounds not a lot.
It's so true. And then if it's one of those days where you have to buy like toilet paper and laundry detergent and everything,
I know.
Then it's
we just have to like at Costco. I'm like, it's gonna be one of those days that really hurts, but it'll be good for the
Okay, yes. We're not going out to eat this week.
Yes.
Okay, maybe we're date night in the house.
Right.
We're gonna keep it a little bit simple these days.
Yes, and so our commissary is something that's super helpful. As you saw in that picture, it's a lot of your non-perishables, but we also have partnerships with HEB, Costco, Sam's Club, and our commissary supervisor. He goes every morning to HEB, which right down 79, and they give us all of the bread from the day before that was baked fresh, that is not up to their standards, but does not expire for like another week and a half or so. So all of our
That's
families,
amazing.
like I went in there last week, I was leading a tour, and there was like all of these king cakes from HEB and like pastry, like the fresh tortillas. Like, I mean, they give it, it's amazing. So,
That's amazing. What a
and then
blessing.
we have other donors that have chosen to, they'll go every Tuesday to Sam's Club, and they'll call our commissary supervisor and say, hey, what do y'all need right now? And a lot of times he'll say, hey, we've got a lot of non-perishables, but our moms, a lot of them are coming to shop today. So if you can bring vegetables and fruit and, maybe some easy dinners, like frozen pizzas or, frozen veggies, smoothie packs, whatever. And so we have a lot of ways that people can plug in. We really want to plug people in where they're passionate. We don't just want to pigeonhole someone into serving somewhere that maybe they're not super passionate about. And so that's what I love about our volunteer center. And then my boss and I too, we love to have those conversations of where are you passionate about serving? And I love telling this story. My mother-in-law loves pulling weeds. I think she's like the only person on the planet that likes pulling weeds. My husband actually likes it too. But for someone like her, we have a lot of campus beautification projects where like we need, help with our cottage flower beds. For someone like her, she would love to come and pull weeds. So it's like things like that where we love to plug people in where they're passionate about serving and where they're going to.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, Deanna, because a lot of times I think people get afraid to volunteer because they're like, oh, well, I don't know how to deal with kids, or I don't know how to deal with trauma, or, so they think it has to be this like, Herculean effort to be helpful. And sometimes you just need people to pick weeds.
Yeah. And sometimes there's no, our needs are changing all the time. So sometimes we need people to come and help clean a cottage to get it ready for a new family. Or we need, I'm trying to think, painting. Sometimes it's like we need a fresh coat of paint, and we have a group of teenagers come from a high school that spend a Saturday working together, painting and listening to music. And so we make it fun. We provide everything that you need. But again, our volunteer center is a really great resource.
I would not trust teenagers to paint anything, but maybe
it's like a solid color, all the walls. The taping's already been done.
Hopefully there's no carpet. No, that's not fair. You know what, teenagers, if there's a teenager watching, I'm totally prejudging you.
We believe in you.
I'm sorry, but I believe in you. You can do it. Okay. So what have we not covered yet that we wanted to make sure to cover today?
I was going to say, so our family care program, single moms, we are also open to single dads. We can't be naive that there's no single dads in this world. So
isn't that the truth?
We are taking steps and are open to that if that ever came our way. Home base, 18 to 24-year-olds aging out of foster care with nowhere to go, facing homelessness. And then our HOPE program counseling, I touched on that a little bit earlier. We have that here in Round Rock for all of our residents. It's trauma-informed, no-cost counseling. So that really goes back to that healing element of mind, body, spirit, of just really wanting them to be, to change that mindset, that trauma, that really help to get over the pain that they've experienced. And so one thing that I love sharing about is we have a Georgetown office that right here, 2100 Scenic Drive, Suite 140, Georgetown, Texas, that is open to the community. So you don't have to have anything to do with TBCH to access no cost counseling through our Georgetown office. Let me say that again. It's for the whole community. You don't have to have anything to do with TBCH to access this no cost counseling. So that is something that I love to share about.
If you want more information, you guys call 512-882-HOPE. 512-882-HOPE.
Yes. And they're amazing. Our counselors are amazing, and they'll come alongside of anyone. They have groups that they lead in Georgetown. And so definitely check them out. Call. There's sometimes where people have come up to me and they'll say, I feel really bad asking for this, but can I, have the number for counseling? I was like, why do you feel bad? That's what they're there for. Take care of yourself. That's what we're here. Like, we want you to take care of yourself. We want our moms to thrive. We want our young adults to thrive. We want our kids to thrive. We want our community to thrive. And, so hopefully that's something that we can give back. And We are a Christian organization. A lot of our support comes from individuals. Like over 80% of our support comes from individuals. So when I tell people, I get the honor of calling people to thank them for their donations. And when I say we can't do this without you, genuinely, we cannot do it without you. If it's $5 a month, if it's $5,000 a month, if it's $5 a year, we need support. And we love it. It's so encouraging to the staff and to the moms and to the young adults, because they know that there's people out there that might not even know their name, but that are supporting them, that are praying for them, that are in their thoughts and their prayers. And our staff comes alongside of them. Really, sometimes I like to say it's like lifestyle evangelism sometimes, because a lot of times we're the first picture of like true Jesus that they've ever gotten.
Yeah.
There's, our world, there's a lot of church hurt.
Yep.
And
that is so
meeting
true.
our moms where they're at, because there is trauma sometimes, religious trauma. And so that's another thing where
people, I grew up in a family of Christians that are the reason why people hate Christians. I know what it means to be church hurt.
Yeah.
Those so-called Christians are not Jesus.
Yeah.
And they do not have to get in the way of my relationship with a creator who loves me unconditionally.
Yeah. Yeah. It's our pastor has said this before. We go to Red Rocks Austin here in Austin. We love our church, and our church is a huge supporter of TBCH as well. But they've said something where it's like, don't you dare let sinful human beings have that eternal impact on your life. Have that impact on your relationship. And so that's something that at TBCH we love. We take our, it doesn't matter if you're religious, if you're not, and sometimes our people are like, do you only help Baptist people? I'm like, no, of course not. Like, we're going to love on you, and we're going to love on you, and we're going to show you the love of Jesus. And we're going to do everything we can to show you truly what that means. But we're going to meet you right where you're at, regardless of your situation.
Now, remind me, Deanna, did I hear you say once you don't get any government assistance? Is that correct? TBCH gets no money from the government.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like Texas, federal, Williamson County. So if you say 80% comes from individuals, where does the other 20% come from?
So we have support through churches, which my boss and I, we love coming to churches and sharing about TBCH. My boss actually was raised at TBCH. He was a kid in our campus life program, so he can actually go and share his whole testimony and weave in our mission with his testimony. And so he'll go and lead. So he would be a fun one to have on the podcast. And he's done several podcasts before, but so we'll take, church, obviously we're supported by churches, and then, grants. We do a lot of, we have some grants, and then other little things here and there, but our biggest support is that individual
80%.
category.
That's
over
amazing.
80%. We haven't gotten our
wild.
annual report back for 2023, so I'm gonna be interested to see where the numbers are at. But individuals is definitely the leading. We would not be possible without the many people. And then we also, the BGCT helped form TBCH, and so we also get money from them, Baptist General Convention of Texas.
Yep. Okay. All right. Cool. I love this. Okay. So. What the heck was I just going to ask you? Did I interrupt you? Were you about to say something?
I don't think so.
Okay, no, because I was gonna say something and then I totally forgot what it was. Okay, so I have to tell, I've gotten choked up like 3 or 4 times in our conversation, because I really, it is so easy for human beings to just say, well, that's someone else's problem, or I'm busy, or the government will take care of it. And again, and I think I might have even said this earlier in the podcast, like, the government does not have the capacity to love people or to be compassionate, right? Like, it really can't do that for people. We need human beings to take interest in other human beings if we hope to overcome the problems that we're seeing and what we have said we want to see that's different. And so, what do you think I actually, you know what? Oh, this is what I remembered what it was. I stalled for long enough to remember what it was I wanted to ask you. You've told me your story, how you got connected to TBCH before, and it's one of those things that just makes your heart warm. And so, can you give the Cliff Notes version of your personal journey with Texas Baptist Children's Home?
Yes. So I grew up in Austin. I went to a church. I grew up going to a church, Great Hills Baptist, over in North Austin. And when I was in middle school, we actually had mission opportunities where we came to TBCH as a youth group and served. We volunteered. And so I remember being 12, 13 years old, coming and holding babies and playing with kids and seeing this campus.
Aww.
And just genuinely falling in love with TBCH and the mission. And I remember thinking at the time, like, I would do anything to be able to work at a place like TBCH. Like, I would be honored to work at a place like TBCH. And so fast forward, thought I wanted to be a elementary school teacher, went to Baylor University, Sig Bears, and was an elementary education major for 3 years, got to my junior year and realized I didn't want to be a teacher. So I called my dad and I was like, hey, I don't think I want to be a teacher. I want to change my major. And he's like, well, you're a junior, so figure it out. Because, so anyways, it was too late for me to go social work because I had been so kind of elementary education was a very kind of specific track. And so with social work. So I was able to get into kind of child and family studies. And then from there, graduated and wanted to get into the nonprofit world, was always met with, we love your energy, but you don't have a lot of experience. And this is post-college once I'd graduated. And so worked at Great Hills for a year, was just amazing. It's like, if I could have handpicked the coworkers that I could have, it's just like, they were like all my best friends and the best mentors I could have ever had starting out.
That's so awesome.
And so I worked there for a year, and then the opportunity arose at TBCH for me to apply. It was actually for a director position at the time, and again was met with, we love your energy, we think you do really well, but you just don't have the experience that we're looking for. And I guess, I don't know if I'd just been told it too many times or if I felt comfortable enough with Melanie Martinez, who's still our Vice President of Program Services. But in the interview, I asked her, I said, I totally respect your decision. I know that I'm young. However, I am young. That is an advantage. I am a sponge. I want to learn. How am I supposed to get the experience if no one's willing to give it to me? And what does that experience look like? Does that look like going back to school? Does that look like volunteering? Does that look like being at my current job and working up or being there for a certain amount of time? Or, what does that experience look like to you? And how am I supposed to get it if no one's going to give it to me or give me the opportunity to have it? And she was like, okay. And so they ended up not hiring me for the director role. They didn't hire me for the director role. However, it was the right call. But then they ended up bringing me in under that. It was Mary Fisher is who they ended up hiring, who I've talked about in this episode, who's still a mentor in my life. So they hired Mary. And then at the time, that was 2020. So they actually did away with the Campus Life program. And that's when they created Home Base, 18 to 24-year-olds, paired it with the, so that we have the two programs. So they brought me in as the Home Base and aftercare moms that are graduating from our program associate. So I got to work directly with Mary in kind of the birth of Home Base, and kind of got to see it from the start up. And it's something that was just so cool to see. Like, this was like the pinnacle of where I wanted to work. And now I just feel like,
and now you're building something.
Oh my gosh. Well, and I think I have the best job in the world now, being in development. I get to brag on TBCH all day long, and I can brag on it because I have nothing to do with the work. Like, I'm not in the trenches. And our staff, they're incredible. Like, we have people that have been here for like 25, 30, 35, 40 years, of these people that are just serving these families day in and day out. It is just, again, I know I'm biased, but it's an amazing organization, and I could not be more lucky to I graduated in gosh, 2019. It's 2024. I've been here now for over 3 years, and I just love every day. I'm so lucky.
I love it. Oh my God. I love that story. So they basically created a position for you, essentially. They were like, okay, maybe not the director, but we like you so much, we're going to create a position for you.
We're going to give this girl a chance. We're going to give her the experience.
Well, and I love that boldness of just being like, yo, bruh. That's, Ericka translation, bruh. Like, what are you talking about? And I think so much that's really required if you really want to make a difference, if you want to have an impact on your community, on your world, on your family. Meekness doesn't usually get you very far. And so they had to have seen that, okay, this girl she's gonna fight for herself, she's gonna fight for our moms, she's gonna fight for our kids, she's gonna fight for our families. And I think that you demonstrated what is really required to make the change, to make a difference. And I just love that. I love that story. Anybody who knows Deanna, anybody who's watching, that knows you, knows how much you love people and what a big heart you have and how kind you are. And that is really something I want to honor. In our relationship, again, we know each other from a business relationship, and you help me feel safe and calm.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you're somebody that I can come to and ask questions and be myself with. And so,
well, I feel the same way about you.
Oh, you're so sweet. You're so sweet.
But you are. And I appreciate your encouragement so much. Seriously.
Yeah. You're so awesome. And I love it. This is what you guys, this is TBCH. Now I met your director before. Is that right?
My boss, David.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been to a couple B&I meetings.
Yes. Okay. Now that dude is just as delightful and wonderful as you are.
Yes.
And so if people want to be, now I saw the volunteer page. If somebody wants to work with TBCH, is there a different place that they would go? How would they find out job opportunities or things like that?
Yeah. So on our website, I think it's under the About Us tab.
About Us.
Join our
team.
Yep.
What?
So this stays updated with different opportunities that we have. I don't know. I think we're currently hiring for so counselors, maintenance technician. But again, this is it's definitely updated very regularly. And so, yes, this is definitely the page that you can come to.
Fantastic. And if you're interested in learning more, I always tell people, if you're going to get involved with a nonprofit, if you're going to donate your money, find out what they do, find out how they spend their money. Your website is so thorough. We can see the folks that you work with. We can see what you're up to, how you're spending your money. Yep. You guys, you got the trustees, like people who are willing to admit in public that they're related to this business.
Yeah, I do really love our website. I think it's so all encompassing of just really what we do. It answers a lot of the questions of what we do. But if a question is not answered at looking on our website, the contact information is it's just right there.
Yeah.
The phone numbers,
it's at the bottom of every single page, you guys.
Yes. And so that's something that we always say. And then 2, if you're someone that could use our services, you can also go to our website, and I think it might be under the services tab, Ericka. I don't know if you can pull that up easily. Under services, so let's say family care program. If you click on family care program, that's our mom. Scroll down. Let's see.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's the program admissions. And then there's also a contact request form. You can take a virtual tour of the cottage. You can actually fill out an application online. right now, so like I said, we can serve up to 45 moms at any given time, and close to 100 children. But we have been on a wait list now for a while. And so that wait list has caused us to go back to the table and have more conversations about what does that look like to potentially expand. And we're on 112 acres and not all of it is built on. And so we would love, I don't know, we don't necessarily have a date yet. However, the conversation is happening of expansion and wanting to double the capacity of families that we can serve. And I mean, it could really, truly just be incredible for our ministry because we have been on that wait list for so long. We never want to tell people no. We have other resources that we can send them to in the meantime. But we never want to have to tell people no, especially when they're coming from the types of situations that our families are coming from.
Yeah.
And so we would love to do that. So if anyone has any questions about that, please feel free to reach out.
Yes. Okay. So you guys are looking to expand. I know you guys are working on a capital fundraise. Is that in a different place on the website, or is that just...
I don't think it's honestly on our website anymore. I think a lot of it's word of mouth right now. So that's if someone does have questions about it, they can definitely just reach out, whether that's just to the main number and you can ask for Deanna or David, or if not, they'll find who to route you to. Fantastic. I don't know if you can put my contact. I don't mind my contact information, especially just my office number and email. All right. I don't know if you can put that somewhere in the comments or something, but yeah I'm totally.
It's Deanna, Deanna.
Pratt.
Pratt.
At tbch.org.
Okay, I'm putting it in the chat right now, you guys. Perfect. And I'll try to remember to go back and add it to the descriptions too if I can. And so that's in there. Okay.
Perfect.
What am I forgetting? Am I forgetting anything?
I don't think so. This has been so fun.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. It's been my dream to be on a podcast and you just fulfilled it for me.
I am so glad that I could do that for you. Like I said, we really have been wanting to, bring at least, if I'm talking about everything that's wrong, a few times a week, I got to talk about what's going right occasionally too.
We need good news in this world. Oh, we really do.
And there's no better good news than the gospel of Jesus Christ. Yeah. And that is something that you guys are really demonstrating in the world in Central Texas. And I'm just so grateful that I get to highlight that.
Oh, well, we're thankful that you are highlighting us, and I love what I do, and we love who we serve, and it's a wonderful time.
Amen. All right, you guys, we are going to wrap up for the day. Say bye to Deanna, everybody.
Goodbye. Bye, Deanna. Feel free to reach out.